Changing my thinking. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Recovery Classroom. My name is Drew. I am alcoholic. Today, I'm a recovering alcoholic, and I cannot be any more grateful. One of the things you might hear when you first come into the rooms of recovery is my best thinking got me here. What does that mean? Well, I can apply it to my own personal life. If I look back at all the years worth of thinking, for as smart as what I thought I was, and some of those decisions that thinking led me to make, some of those decisions I made were not in my best interest. As a matter of fact, a lot of those decisions had catastrophic or disastrous effects, which ultimately led me down a path of alcoholism, but thankfully led me into the rooms of recovery. And whenever I first came into the rooms of recovery, specifically the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous, I remember hearing people say, well, when I came in, I needed to have my brain washed. And there's some truth to that, 100%. I've said this a million times. When I came in, I did not want to be part of AA. I wanted nothing to do with AA. I did not want to be part of their group or their club. Nothing like that at all. That was not my goal. My goal was simply to show up to where I could have a one-on-one dialogue, conversation, back and forth, exchange with another person who was like me, so I could take what they've tried and try to figure out if it would work in my life. And fortunately, by the grace of God, I was able to go into these rooms and have that one-on-one dialogue and conversation and interaction, human interaction, albeit before the meeting or after the meeting, because you can't do that during the meeting, but I digress. But I was able to talk to people. I was able to question people and find out that, you know what, the program of action known as the 12 Steps of Alcoholics Anonymous, that will work for me. And by the grace of God, it will continue to work for me. Whenever I came in, I didn't want to start thinking like those people that I was talking to. I didn't. I just simply wanted to ask them questions to find out what it was that they had done. See, the big book is very clear. What we have is a thinking problem. Matter of fact, I think Bill Wilson, the way Bill Wilson writes it, is the problem with the real alcoholic centers in his mind rather than his body. We don't have a drinking problem or a drugging problem. We have a thinking problem. So if I'm walking into the rooms thinking like an alcoholic, why would I want to start thinking like another alcoholic? That doesn't make sense to me. If you have drug addict thinking, why would you want to start thinking like another drug addict? And granted, you can say, well, because they're sober. They're sober. Okay, that's great, but for how long? Because if you look at the statistics, we're not too sure how long they're going to stay that way, right? The statistics don't look that great. The problem is when I came in, I wanted to be able to think for myself, but I knew I had to change my thinking. Matter of fact, if you read through step 11 in the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, Bill Wilson writes, under these conditions, we can employ our mental faculties with assurance, for after all, God gave us brains to use. I needed to change my thinking from thinking alcoholically to thinking semi-normal, or as normal as what God designed my brain to think. Great example. Always use this as an example. A normal person will take a drink of alcohol, set the glass down, wait a few minutes and go, whoa, that's making me feel a little tipsy. That's normal, rational thought. Me, however, I take a drink of alcohol before I set the glass down. I'm thinking I want more. That's not normal thinking. And so when I came in, I started working the 12 steps. I realized I have a thinking problem. I think alcoholically. Why would I want to start thinking like other people who are alcoholics, sober or not? Why would I want to stop thinking alcoholically for me and start thinking alcoholically from other people's perspective? That doesn't make sense to me. What I knew I needed to do was, again, as step 11 says, to use the faculties that God gave me with assurance. With assurance, I had to change my thinking, not for other people's benefit, not for the way that they think, but I needed to change the way I think. God gave me a brain to use, and I love the fact that I can use the brain that he gave me, even sober. I know it's hard to believe, even sober. And that is what I'm incredibly thankful for. When you're going into these rooms, You don't, if you're an alcoholic going into a room full of alcoholics, why would you want to continue thinking alcoholically? I wanted to stop thinking, or at least to the best of my efforts, stop thinking alcoholically. That way I could have something resembling a semi-normal life and be better positioned to enjoy all the blessings that God has given me. So with that being said, I'm out of time. Thank you guys for letting me come in and share 5 to 10 minutes of your day with you. This, you guys, absolutely keep me sober, and I cannot be any more appreciative. We'll be talking again soon. Remember, guys, you can't get drunk if you don't take that first drink.